Hi, my name's Sluggo. This is my 7DRL Pieux. Uh, there are a couple things I want to do with the 7DRL. First off, as you can kind of see here on the map, we've implemented a skinny wall system. So you can see that we have these barriers. They don't actually take up width in terms of tile like a traditional roguelike, but they do the similar things like block line of sight, block enemies. The other behavior that we have here is we have difference in height. So you can see that I'm here standing on a tended shrine. And to my south, there are a couple of these faithless enemies, the most basic enemy in the game. But you can see that they're up on a different colored ground. This is actually higher ground than I'm standing on. So they're able to come and drop down to my level, but I cannot navigate back up to theirs. To navigate up, I'd have to find a ramp, which is like a little triangle shape as part of the tile transition. Um, that's kind of how the map structure works. There are 5 floors you're trying to clear in each floor. You're trying to navigate from a tended shrine to a neglected one, and then you play at the shrine to kind of restore some stability to the world and progress on. Um, in terms of equipment, we start with a couple items, a spade and a barrel lid. We also have a flask of restoration that we can use. You can use this 5 times per the floor, and every time you rest and pray at the shrine, it gets restored. You can pray at either shrine on a level. If you pray at a tended shrine, which I can do here, it will restore your health in flasks, but it will regenerate all of the enemies in the level. Um, so you can kind of basically start each level over if you feel like they're not going well, but you'll have to progress through the enemies again. There's experience limits and some item restrictions or controls in place, so you can't just farm the levels, but you can kind of have a couple goes at it to kind of learn, get your bearings before you really need to commit to trying to clear the level. Um, we have a few stats. We have health, stamina, and poise. Health is, the health, pretty common. Stamina you use every time you attack or if you want to sprint. And poise, when enemies hit you, they'll damage your poise. And if you run out of poise, you'll be unable to do anything for a few turns, and that can really, lead to bad situations. So you definitely need to manage your poise and watch out for that. Likewise, enemies have poise, so in addition to damaging them, we also can capitalize on their poise to, you know, uh, take them out. So we'll stop looking here and we'll get going. Um, we have our first enemy, the Faithless. These are pretty basic. You can see they do a little bit of damage. They also like to kind of skitter away. So they don't want to engage if they don't have to. But once you are attacking somebody, they're quite happy to kind of pile in and get in on the fun. So they're a little easier to work around, but they will surprise you sometimes and surround you. So what I'm going to do here for the first level, what I like to do is just kind of work my way through it a little bit carefully. You can see that I'll take quite a lot of damage when I do get surrounded. So we do need to be careful to not die. But I'm going to kind of clear through the level, and then I like to kind of do that, and then take a kind of look at the items that we've gotten. So I'm just going to kind of go through and pick them all up as we go. Oop, that was a bold move, and I took quite a lot of damage by moving into 2. So one thing that I will take advantage of more, second here, is the ability to sprint. So I ran out of stamina there, so I'm going to back up, and then I can wait a turn to kind of get quite a bit of stamina back. And I'll need to do that again. So now that I'm chasing down this last enemy, I can use my sprint. So you can see there, if I hold shift in a direction movement, I'll traverse 2 tiles at once, and that can be good for closing in on the running enemies. So progress through, and I think we've pretty much got them all. Oh, there's one more hiding here, or a few more up on the ledge too. I'll use one more flask. Alright, so now at this point I kind of cleared out the first floor. Let's just check up here. I think there's one more item. Yeah, we don't need that. So let's kind of take a look at what we have. We'll start with the weapons. So we've picked up a few weapons. We picked up a three-pronged pitchfork. This is a pretty potent two-handed weapon. Does a lot of damage, but not nearly as much poise damage. A kitchen knife. This is a pretty easy to use weapon. It takes 3 strength. We start with 1 strength, and we can invest our level up to get more. 3 is a moderate requirement, but this weapon does a ton of damage. It just doesn't do nearly as much in the poise damage. And we also picked up a buckler. So with shields, I haven't used a shield yet really this floor, but the way the shield works is you can use it kind of like an attack and bump into an enemy, and you'll block a portion of their attack, and you'll deal stamina damage back to them. So the more stability you have, the kind of more stamina drain you do on yourself for blocking, and the more stamina that you impose on the enemy. And the block value itself is a percentage of the damage you avoid. So because I kind of got this buckler and this kitchen knife, I think I'm going to equip both. So I'll put the knife in my left hand and the buckler in the right. The light left-handed doesn't really matter too much. It's kind of, you can be either-handed, I guess, in this game. So now that we've done that, you can see there's kind of a lot of red on the screen. So we have 2 kind of issues. One, we've weighed ourselves down by doing that, and we've also we're not meeting the strength requirement we need for these items. So I'm going to level up with the X, and we'll start by putting some points into strength to clear our requirements, and then I think what we'll do is increase our weight a bit here. So there's 3 levels of encumbrance you can have. Well, 4. If you're completely over encumbrance, which is over 100%, you'll be unable to regain stamina. So very quickly you're going to be useless and you'll die. So that's pretty much not not a good state to be in. The next state down from that is slow. If you're slow, you're unable to sprint. And enemies will move before you do. So if you try to move into a square that an enemy wants to move into, they'll actually end up occupying that square. And then they'll get ready to attack you. The weight below that is medium. When you're medium encumbrance, you move like normal. You move before the enemies and they move. But enemies can attack if you end your turn adjacent to them. And that's kind of what you've been seeing on this floor. The level of encumbrance below that is swift or fast. When you're in fast movement, you actually move before the enemy, so you can move adjacent to an enemy without being attacked. And also, when you do a sprint, you'll do a sprint attack instead of a standard sprint at the cost of some stamina. So I think what we'll do is also boost our stamina here 1. So our weapon costs 125 stamina to attack, so it's nice to have a little bit of extra so we can get potentially an extra attack or a sprint in there. So we've moved on to the second level, and on this level now we have heretics. These heretics are a little more threatening. They'll be willing to move right in for the attack, and if we ignore them, they'll do a little bit more damage. So you can see here with the heretic, I'm unable to stagger them the way that I was able to stagger the faithless before, and that's both from using this lighter kitchen knife as well as from them being a little bit tougher. So we're going to clear them out, and we'll chase down this last faithless if we can get lined up. Oh, he ran away and he's gotten buddies now. So before engaging that, I think one thing we can do here as well is we'll add 1 more to our weight capacity, and we'll check out our armor. So we picked up a buff coat. This is kind of a more medium armor. It's a little bit heavier, but it also gives us 8 armor instead of 5 of the tunic we're currently wearing, and it gives us actually 20 more poise. So the poise is pretty valuable. It keeps us from getting staggered ourselves, and it also gives us a little bit of armor. The armor is a straight reduction, so we'll take off an extra, I believe, 3 damage from that the enemy is doing here. So we're going to back up and heal because we don't want to get surrounded. And we have a couple of levels here. So what I think would be a good use now would be force. Force changes how impactful your blows are. You start at 1 and we can level it up. Depending on the weapon, it can scale a little bit better or a little bit worse with force. So we'll level up here and get a little more damage. So you see our damage has gone from 25 to 29. And we'll take out some more of these Faithless. Now, one thing I haven't been using is a shield, but this is a perfect opportunity to use it. I have two enemies about to attack me. That's at pulsing pink. And the shield will block all attacks. It just drains more stamina based on how many blocks you attack. So I can switch to my shield by hitting 2. And then I can kind of push in here and block both attacks. Now you can see here, while my kitchen knife is not really well equipped to stagger, the shield will deal tremendous stamina damage, and then I can stagger these two enemies, which gives me the chance to attack them without getting hit. And since it also fully drained their poise, even though they get a little bit back after that one attack, they're easier to stagger again. Unfortunately, this heretic moved in, so we'll block again, and we'll take them out. And then we can take out the last Faithless. Here's a wooden staff. This is an item dedicated more towards dealing high stamina damage or poise damage instead of attack damage. But we'll kind of pass that up for right now because I think we're kind of pretty happy with our kitchen knife here. But we could use a little more damage for that. Now you better use another flask. Might as well top off. Now we can come in here and really take advantage of our block to clear out these enemies. Another wooden staff. Oop. We went a little fast there. So let's block here and take out the heretic. We'll use another flask and then they'll go down. Alright, now we have a fortified bunker barricade here. We'll pick that up. This is the heaviest of the weapons. You can see it weighs a whopping 14. It also has, I believe, a 6 strength requirement, but it'll block almost all damage and make you, nearly impervious when blocking. But for now, I think we'll settle on buffing our force one more time. So we'll get, kind of get up to about 40 damage. Which is a pretty good, pretty high number to be on. So we have seen a new enemy here. This is the Defiler. They behave like the Faithless. They prefer to attack you when you're already engaged in combat, but they're more deadly. So here we got kind of a double surround again, so we'll block. And you can see this heretic on the left. They've already attacked a few times. They think they hit me twice, and they kind of run out of their stamina. So now they're unable to attack until they get stamina back themselves, just like you are. But I think it will still focus them first, and then we'll block again because the other enemies recovered, and we'll take out this Faithless, and then we can work on the heretic. So we're out of stamina ourselves, so why don't we back up here. And we can take out the Defiler. Oh, and we got Gambison, which is a even heavier armor. So we're at 51%, so I think we probably could wear this. So you can see this as a 10 weight, but it offers a whopping 15 armor and 60 poise. So let's put that on. And let's take out these heretics. And this one got us pretty low. Oh, and we've used up all of our flasks, so we're in quite a pickle here right now. We can rush for the shrine, which is probably our best bet. And we can. So the tricky thing is this Faithless here. If we move adjacent to them, they are going to want to attack us. So we wait for this heretic, and hopefully we can sneak now away. Yep, and we can make it to the shrine and continue on. So let's use our extra levels up here. I think a good use here would be an extra piece of stamina, and maybe get an extra couple of hit points here. And then since we kind of got some hit points, I'll use the shrine again to top off. Okay, and now you can see there's a lot more heretics and defilers here, so things are starting to ramp up. But we'll try our best to carefully navigate our way through here. Alright, that was quite the big pack. But we've made it through. Let's heal up, and then let's look to maybe add to our strength. Let's see if we can get that fortified barricade up and running. It's quite the investment, but I think it'll pay off big for us when we get there. Ooh, and we ran in here, and you can see there's quite a lot to deal with. So let's quickly back up here to someplace a little more defendable. So sprint past this heretic to kind of get into this corner here. This is, you know, pretty nice place to be in for us. It looks like we're a bit surrounded, but because we're up on a ledge, we can always drop down and shake off the enemies. And we'll do just that, and we'll clear out these faithless. And we'll kind of dance around here. We'll let the heretics come to us, but then we're going to need to block these defilers. Ooh, and that's a really ugly looking spot, so we'll sprint away. Let's see if we can, if we attack the defiler here, we'd probably kill them. 80 damage is, you know, quite a lot, but we wouldn't have stamina and we'd be surrounded. So I think what we want to do is, we're already out of stamina to sprint, so if we take a step back, we'll get a little bit of stamina back, and then we can sprint away again. So we're just trying to, you know, manage our position in the battle here, because if we get surrounded, we're going to really regret that. Okay, now we're in a much better spot. We have the stamina back. We have some health to work with. So we're going to kind of dance around. And we'll take a moment to level up as well, because I think we could really take advantage of you know, some of the benefits here. So you can pump to 6 strength now. That's great. So we have enough to use the fortified barricade, but I think we're going to need you know, a level or 2 into our weight as well. So let's see if we can manipulate these to be in a good spot. This will do. Kind of block. And then let's see what we can do. Oh, this is getting real ugly fast. So I think I'm going to use a flask here. This is going to hurt a lot. Yeah. I'll try to... Nope, no uses on our flask. Alright, so we put ourselves in quite the pickle. So we might not get to the chance to use a fortified barricade here. Fortunately, you know, we got staggered for a couple turns there, and you can see we took some damage. But now that we've taken damage for a couple turns, you then kind of get all your poise back. So this actually does give us a chance to kind of turn this battle around. We'll get a block in. It's a lot more damage than we want to take, but if we can potentially fight our way out of here. Could maybe make it out. I think we might just be done for. Yeah, we really surrounded ourselves a little bit too much there. So this kind of gives you a look at what Pieux looks like as a 7-day RL. It's a game where, on some ways, it's much more on the easy side. You can see, you know, we're kind of able to clear out a lot of enemies there, but you do kind of need to be a little bit vigilant, because you can definitely get yourself into trouble very quickly. And unfortunately, we did just that. But that was a nice run. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed.